Are both sides in touch with each other? If yes, how on the diplomatic front? Have we summoned the Chinese envoy? Aishwarya from AFP has asked, what is the current status of talks between India and China? Has there been any response from the Chinese authorities on a last night's response to their claims on the Galvan Valley? Sheila Bhatt from Reddit.com has asked, when was the first diplomatic contact established after the Chinese intrusion in May? Why it failed to yield results? Others including Devdeep from Shanghai Shinbun, Neeraj from News 18 India, Madhurendra from News Nation, Athar Khan from Times Now have asked questions similar on this topic. The second set of questions on China, Maha Siddiqui from CNN News 18 has asked, there are some reports that not all Indian soldiers are accounted for yet since the 15 June violent face-off. Is this correct? Similar questions have been asked by Sanjay Rai from Aaj Daily, Neeraj from News 18 India, and Sridhar Kumaraswamy from Asian Age. The third set of questions on Chinese claims on the Galvan Valley. The questions are, Parul Chandra from Strategic News Global asks, the Chinese have claimed sovereignty over the entire Galvan Valley, while India has described these claims as untenable and exaggerated. Don't such claims mean that China is effectively trying to change the status quo? NB Nair from Sputnik News has asked, India and China held 22 rounds of talks at the level of special representatives on the border issue. What was the understanding so far between both the sides on the LAC in Galvan Valley? Has Beijing gone back on an early understanding, or it is making fresh claims on the Galvan Valley? Abhishek Jha from DD News has asked, did the issue of sovereignty of Galvan Valley come up in the foreign minister level talks? On the same topics, we have questions from Brahm Prakash from Z News and others. The fourth set of questions on China are related to engagement with the international community. They are, Siddhant Sibal asks, how many countries have we briefed on the issue? Mr. Shankar, 22 rounds of talks at the level of special representative. What was the understanding so far between both the sides on the LSE in Galvan Valley?
My mother
has
really
Beijing gone
wonderful.
back on an early understanding,
like
or it is making fresh claims on the Galvan Valley?
Physically,
Abhishek Jha from DD News has asked,
more
did the issue of sovereignty
Well, clearly questions being asked, and this is the first MEA press briefing on the entire story itself, and what is the version. This is shortly after the foreign minister tweeted to all the allegations coming in from the opposition that asking questions ki who sent our men unarmed, but it was S. Jaishankar who came out and said that the boys only followed protocol. Going back to the press conference.
From PTI is asking, the PM delivered a very strong message to China that India will give a befitting reply if instigated. What are the options India is mulling if Chinese troops do not vacate Indian areas in Pangong Tso and Galwan? Manas has also asked, is India mulling any economic measures against China or Chinese companies, as the External Affairs Minister clearly said that the Galvan clash will have impact on bilateral ties? Shankar Kumar from India versus Disinformation is asked, how many foreign companies currently operating from China have evinced their interest to ship their business to India, and what facilities are they going to get from the country? Parikshit Luthra from CNBC TV 18 has asked, has China's actions put its reliability as a supply chain partner in severe doubt? Will this action now lead to greater scrutiny of all Chinese investments and working of Chinese companies in India? The last set of questions on China are seeking details of the incident and the present situation at the LAC. These are Madhurendra from News Nation has asked, चीन का आरोप है कि भारतीय सैनिक उसके इलाके में घुसे और चीन गलवान के उस इलाके को अपना बताने लगा है जो भारत का हिस्सा है, भारत के नियंत्रण में है। चीन के इस आरोप का क्या जवाब देना चाहेंगे? Kadimini Sharma from NDTV India has asked, are there any changes visible on ground at the LAC after yesterday's development? Alazar Pal from Reuters has also asked a number of questions on this topic.
Thank you, Bhavan. I'll try and give a comprehensive response to all of them. You would have already seen our earlier statement of 16th June, and the readout issued yesterday of the phone conversation between EM and the Chinese foreign minister on the recent developments in the western sector of the India-China border. To give you a background, India and China have been discussing through military and diplomatic channels the de-escalation of the situation in the border area in eastern Ladakh. On 6th June 2020, the core commanders of India and China held a meeting in the Chushul-Moldo region where an agreement was reached on de-escalation and disengagement along the line of actual control. Ground commanders were meeting regularly to implement this consensus throughout last week. While it was our expectation that this would unfold smoothly, the Chinese side departed from the consensus to respect the LAC in the Galwan Valley. On the late evening and night of 15th June 2020, a violent face-off happened when the Chinese side unilaterally attempted to change the status quo there. They took premeditated and planned action that was directly responsible for the resulting violence and casualties suffered by both sides. This could have been avoided had the agreement at the higher level been scrupulously followed by the Chinese side. Given its responsible approach to border management, India is very clear that all activities are always within the Indian side of the LAC. We expect the Chinese side to also confine its activities to its side of the LAC. During his telephone conversation with the Chinese foreign minister, EM conveyed that the need of the hour was for the Chinese side to reassess its actions and take corrective steps. They should strictly respect and observe the line of actual control and not take any unilateral action to alter it. It was agreed that both sides would implement the disengagement understanding of 6th June sincerely. Neither side would take any action to escalate matters and instead ensure peace and tranquility as per bilateral agreements and protocols. The two sides are in regular touch through their respective embassies and foreign offices. At the ground level, the two sides have maintained communication at the commanders level. Meetings of other established diplomatic mechanisms, such as Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination on Border Affairs, WMCC, are under discussion. While we remain firmly convinced of the need for maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas and the resolution of differences through dialogue, at the same time, as Honorable PM stated yesterday, we are also strongly committed to ensuring India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. I'll also respond to specific questions on the status of Indian soldiers. This has been clarified by the Army earlier today afternoon that there are no Indian troops missing in action. And specifically on the questions on the Chinese claims on Galwan Valley, I would refer you to my statement of last evening.
So the next set of questions are on the RIC summit. Siddhant Sibal from Beyond has asked, will India participate in the RIC summit on 23rd June? Aishwarya from AP has asked, is the RIC meeting still going ahead as planned? There were comments from the Russian side yesterday. Would be grateful for a confirmation from our end as well. Maha Siddiqui from CNN News 18 has asked, is the External Affairs Minister going to participate in the Russia-India-China meeting on 23rd, despite the current standoff with China? Can this trilateral help in creating a conducive atmosphere for resolving matters? Shishir Soni from Haribhumi Samuha has asked, क्या भारत, रूस और चीन के साथ होने वाली बैठक में शामिल होंगे? Abhishek Jha from DD News has asked, has India agreed to the RIC virtual meet on 23rd June proposed by Russia, or are new dates being explored? Abhishek Dhulia from NHK Japan Broadcasting Corporation has asked, sir, whether Foreign Minister will be joining RIC Foreign Ministers meeting scheduled on June 22nd, and could you share some details of the agenda on the meeting? Sridhar Kumaraswamy from Asian Age has asked, can the MEA give us details about Indian participation at the forthcoming RIC meet?
See, the Russia-India-China Foreign Ministers meeting is scheduled on 23rd June. Russia is the chair this year. Russia has called for a special session of the RIC meeting to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the victory in the Second World War over Nazism and creation of the United Nations. It will be the first meeting of the RIC foreign ministers, which will be taking place through video conferencing. EM will be participating in this meeting. The agenda, as someone has asked, the three ministers are expected to discuss the current situation of the global pandemic and the challenges of global security, financial stability, and RIC cooperation in that context. And this is going to be a trilateral meeting.
Pranay Upadhyay from ABP News and Neeraj Kumar from News 18 have asked for an update on the meeting between India and Pakistan on the locust management.
I had briefed you last week on the developments in this context. And you would recall that in May 2020, we had taken the initiative to call for intensifying contacts between locust warning organizations of the two countries. And these contacts have been taking place over the last 60 years. We thought it was important in wake of the threat posed by desert locust. And we even proposed to Pakistan coordinated locust control operations. And we also proposed that we can facilitate the supply of pesticide for locust control operations. In fact, we have already delivered 20,000 liters of malathion pesticide to Iran for desert locust operations in their territory. As per available information, Pakistan side has refused to join this meeting, and this meeting was supposed to be held today. We find it unfortunate that Pakistan maintains its reticent attitude even when its own people face the threat of food security. And we will continue to coordinate with FAO in this matter. Are there any further questions, Pawan?
So I have some follow-up questions.
Yeah.
Siddhant from Vion has asked, do we have any update on the extradition of Vijay Mallya?
Siddhant, I had briefed you last week during the weekly briefing that in the case of Vijay Mallya, after his application for leave to appeal to the Supreme Court was rejected, we are in touch with the UK side for his early extradition to India. And we have requested the UK side not to consider his asylum request. So there's nothing further in terms of update beyond that.
So on China, I have a couple of follow-up questions. Pranay Upadhyay has asked, there is a statement by the Russian Foreign Ministry regarding an Indian-initiated phone call between ambassador in Moscow and the Deputy Foreign Minister of Russia. It also mentions a discussion regarding India-China LAC tensions. Did similar exercise was carried with other strategic partners like US, France, etc.? Did we brief other foreign partners? And Uma Shankar from NDTV India has asked, विदेश मंत्रियों की फोन पर बातचीत को चीन बार बार अपने तरह से पेश किए जा रहा है, वो ऐसा संदेश दे रहा है कि शांतिपूर्ण समाधान की तरफ कदम बढ़ाने की बजाय उसने इस फोन कॉल के मौके का इस्तेमाल धमकाने के लिए किया है. ऐसे में किसी नतीजे की कैसे उम्मीद की जा सकती है?
Pranay, I haven't seen those reports, so I won't be able to provide you more information on that. I'll check. Uma, on the telephone conversation between EM and the Chinese foreign minister, you've seen our readout. It is fairly comprehensive and it gives you a sense of that conversation. So I wouldn't like to add anything further to that. Are there any further questions, Pawan?
No, sir, I do not have any further questions.
Thank you. So this concludes the weekly briefing.
So the MEA there very clearly coming out and saying first response on television, and it is said that all the activity has happened on what is sovereign Indian territory, what is perceived to be Indian side. India has never gone across to what the Chinese perceive to be their territory along the line of actual control. Secondly, they said it was a planned and premeditated violation of what was agreed upon as far as the de-escalation measures. And they said it was because of the Chinese troops and their planned and premeditated act that matters went to a level where we have lost 20 of our briefs. That's the big statement that has come in from the Ministry of External Affairs, very clearly explaining there and saying in no less terms, very, very clearly that it is China that is the aggressor. It is because of them that we are seeing this standoff and this issue at the at the Galwan Valley. Zaka Jacob takes it forward. Stay with us.
Good evening. It's been 3 days since the bloodiest clashes along the line of actual control between India and China. Multiple casualties on both sides. There has been a phone conversation between both foreign ministers. While on the face of it, both sides have said that they have no intention of escalating any further and that their first priority would be to disengage. The fact is that multiple Major General level talks over the last 3 days have not resulted in anything significant changing on the ground. The larger question is this. There is a sense in the country right now that it can't be business as usual with China. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be seen to be done. What is that? What is the gamut of India's response? Economic, diplomatic, military? That's what we will probe tonight on the show. I'll be joined by three seasoned voices who will be giving their perspectives from the diplomatic angle, from the military angle, and from the economic angle. Up first on the show at 6 o'clock top, we will be speaking to Gautam Bambawale. He's a former Indian ambassador to China and former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan as well. So he knows a thing or two about how to deal with such difficult situations. A little later on at 6:10, 6:15, we'll be joined by Vijay Nambiar. He's also a former ambassador to Beijing for his perspective. At 6:20, we'll be joined by former Chief of Army Staff, General J.J. Singh, who will be giving his thoughts on what is it that the military must do, not only to convey the message to China that the change of status quo is not acceptable, but also to go to the pre-May 5th position. And in the second half of the show, post 6:30, I'll be joined by one of the world's leading security experts when it comes to India-China. Professor Taylor Fravel is the Ruth and Sloan Professor of Security Studies at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So that's going to come up through the course of the next 1 hour. The most influential, most respected voices in diplomacy, in military, to talk about what is happening at the LAC and what needs to be done now. But first, the top developments today. No Indian soldiers are in Chinese custody. That's been affirmed first by the Indian Army and now formally by the Ministry of External Affairs. It's confirmed that just a few minutes ago, India has reiterated that China was the one that unilaterally attempted to change the status quo at the line of actual control in Galwan Valley on Monday night, despite the agreement by both sides that a disengagement would be implemented. That was agreed to on the meeting on the 6th between the two corps commanders. Let's listen in first to Anurag Srivastav. He's a spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs.
While it was our expectation that this would unfold smoothly, the Chinese side departed from the consensus to respect the LAC in the Galwan Valley. On the late evening and night of 15th June 2020, a violent face-off happened when the Chinese side unilaterally attempted to change the status quo there. They took premeditated and planned action that was directly responsible for the resulting violence and casualties suffered by both sides. This could have been avoided had the agreement at the higher level been scrupulously followed by the Chinese side. Given its responsible approach to border management, India is very clear that all activities are always within the Indian side of the LAC. There are no Indian troops missing in action.
All right, Maha Siddiqui was at that press conference by the MEA. She asked a couple of questions as well. Maha, anything different that the MEA spokesperson